I'm with Grappling Hearts. I'm live, and today I have Heather Standing with me. For anyone who doesn't know Heather, she's actually the matchmaker for Submission Underground, so that's pretty cool,
Pretty cool.
for sure. Heather, I guess to start us off, do you kind of want to tell us about how you got involved in matchmaking and what got you into the behind the scenes work and any other type of activities you might do to make the magic happen that we might not know about?
Yeah, no, for sure. I've been in the business for about 10 years now, maybe 11, and started off with just like being like the runner at the events, putting wristbands on people, making sure people walked out when they were supposed to at MMA events.
Cool.
It escalated. I started doing my own shows with my ex actually in 2010. And I pretty much did the same thing, event coordination there. Didn't start matchmaking till 2013 was the first time I started matchmaking MMA. Very much MMA is the prominent in my background. And I started working for Kevin Keeney in 2015 at FCFF, which is an amateur MMA show in Portland. And that is also co-owned by Chael. And Chael came to me in I think it was 2015 or 2016 and says, hey, we're going to, put on a grappling show. Do you want to do everything that you do for FCFF, for Submission Underground? And, I said, yes. I mean, it's Chael. You say yes, and you just see what happens,
For sure.
And so that's kind of how that happened. Jiu-jitsu was very new to me. Obviously, it's a part of MMA, but, the players in the game are different. So yeah,
For
but
sure.
it's
And
been
the
about
styles you see.
4 years. Yeah, exactly.
Um, so where you've been doing this, what are some of the things you take into consideration when making matches? Like, how do you go about doing that?
When we first started Submission Underground, we had like 20 plus matches, as you know. And that ranged everything from teenagers up to, of course, high level pro competitors. Um, And initially, the typical factors that come into play for the UFC as well, or for shows like that, where you have a ticket gate, I mean, you want the popular people, but you also want the athletic people. You want the people that know what they're doing and can put on a show for the fans. Um, but lately that has changed for us. A few shows back, it was kind of pushed that we need to have primarily black belts or better, which is what Chael says. He always says black belt. I said, what
Right.
does black belt or better mean? And he says, like celebrities. So I'm like, oh, okay. Because, I mean, for instance, right now we have Austin Vanderford, Bellator fighter, Paige Van Zandt's husband, as he's most primarily known for. He's a purple belt, and he's running game at our shows against black belts right now. So
Right.
he's one of the or better people. So we're looking for people that have a strong social media presence, of people that are active. Every show I get people that message me and go, hey, can I be on that Submission Underground show? And they haven't competed in like 3 years. They don't have a gym that they claim. They're like, well, I've been doing this for 8 years. I've just never been belted, blah, blah, blah. And we want people that are wanting to grow in the sport, people that already have a name in the sport, people that are doing something in the sport. So.
Now, you mentioned social media presence. Do you look at every platform when you're considering these matches, or do you have one specific one that you primarily focus on?
You know, I used to. Twitter is kind of dead unless you're a celebrity. I mean, you're not going
Right.
to see. I mean, I think it was only this last year that even Gordon Ryan got on Twitter, and it's really just almost not necessary. We advertise on Twitter, but it's just not to the level that we'd like, and so Instagram is really the place that I look. A lot of people, my age, your age, etc., the regular social media users have started to migrate from Facebook to Instagram, and it's obviously picture based and it's fun, and it's we're finding that we get a lot of our people there. So we're looking for you to have an active Instagram presence. When I post a poster or an image advertising you and the show, I want to be able to tag you. I mean, it's just what it is. So
That's smart, especially for advertising purposes.
absolutely.
So you've been doing this for years, like you said. I've been really curious about that. Has there ever been a time where you had to ban somebody from an event? And if so, what kind of extremity they have to pull to have that consequence against them?
I hate that a couple names came to mind immediately.
Oh God.
And I will not say them because Chael would kill me. But we have not banned anybody from the event. We'll put it that way. But there are definitely a couple people that I will never call back to come back and compete. We've been very fortunate in the, I guess, 13 shows we've had prior. We've only had one, maybe two incidences with the hotel, as far as where the people, the main card staying. We've had, people booed from the crowd. And in my opinion, if you're not putting on a show for the fans are going to prosecute you more than I am. You're still going to get paid or whatever. We're still going to send you home, but you got to deal with that, I have one or two names that I have flat out told Chael that if he books them, he better find a new matchmaker because I just won't deal with them. And my job title is matchmaker, but I deal with the travel arrangements. I deal with, everything from stuff that we send to UFC Fight Pass, the pay-per-view information, the rule set, all that kind of stuff. I handle all the behind-the-scenes stuff for that, as well as matchmaking. And so it's not just me putting a match together. I still have to deal with the athletes from start to finish, which is fine usually. So, but no, we've been very lucky to have amazing competitors, people that are super grateful. A lot of them, not I shouldn't say a lot of them, but some people are definitely fans of Chael and they want to make sure that he's happy with them. And there's that. And then there's people that are excited to be on Fight Pass and just have the opportunity. So we've been very fortunate.
100%. And like you just said, getting on Fight Pass and getting that opportunity to get that close to Chael, that's a really big deal in this community.
Yeah, well, and he tries. I think he's only missed one show, maybe two, since we started, because he's got his obligations with the UFC, Bellator, ESPN, etc. Right. But otherwise, he normally sits right by the cage, and so when you're walking into the cage and when you're exiting the cage, Chael's sitting right there, and it's been a cool experience for a lot of people. These recent events, obviously, he's in a totally different room, but he's actually now commentating your match, which I think is really cool. So.
The past few that I listened to of him, man, he's hilarious. I love listening to him just talk and him egg stuff on as far as like the I don't want to say trash talking, but definitely
he has his way.
Yeah, stirring the pot a little bit.
Yeah.
Bringing that aspect up, when you go on social media or even just in person, do you feel like call outs or like what we just said, trash talking helps people get matches, or do you feel like it hurts them in the long run?
That's the biggest difference between jiu-jitsu and MMA as far as the competitors go. Jiu-jitsu is very the word that they would probably want to use is respectful. I don't know if that's the overall word I would use, but they are more inclined to want to just, shake hands and have a match and move on with things. Whereas MMA is, we see, of course, the Conor McGregor's, the Chael Sonnens, we see those people calling people out. As a matchmaker, calling people out is great. It helps me, it helps me put together matches. Plus it advertises and hypes their match in the show. So it's a double whammy for us if people do call outs and then we book that match, obviously. A lot of people complain about Gordon Ryan. He's the easiest example right now.
Right.
He's very mouthy. He's extremely mouthy. Obviously, he's extremely talented. But no one, and people will argue this, but his mouth sells tickets. His mouth gets him in those positions. On the MMA side of things, Chael made many matches in the UFC and Bellator just by running his mouth, and so he got those big paydays. And one punch can change your life, or one submission, and you never know where you're getting up. And he's gone against him. He's gone against Jones. He's gone against some huge names, And so I think that the risk is worth the reward. I really do. There's a fine line boundary in trash talk, so you kind of have to respect that, so.
Absolutely. And like you said, there's a fine line. I feel like unless you go too far, then like you said, it's 100% going to get views, going to get people hyped up for it. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's the cool part about it is that you're able to do that. And what I love about jiu-jitsu is even if you trash talk before a match, or I don't
Mhm.
like calling it trash talking, but trying to get it hyped, after the match, after it's all done over, 98% of the time, you're cool afterwards.
Absolutely. And that's, on the fighter, on the competitor side of things, you have to be aware that it's part of the game. And, Chael's
100%.
one of the nicest guys ever. He'll tell you that's a lie, but he's one of the nicest guys ever, even if he talked about your mom the night before, and it's what it is. So, some people get kind of snobbish or whatever, and they say that they don't need to hype the fight, and that's our job. But the fact of the matter is that you can be talented and you can be mouthy, and hopefully you're both. But even if you're not, it still sells. So
For sure. And I feel like that also goes into when you're in the cage or on the mats, you want to be exciting for the fans. You want to make them want to see you. And I feel like that also plays into that. Which
yeah.
brings me to my next question. Do you feel like it's more important for someone to be exciting in the match? When what I mean by that is they're constantly attacking, not trying to stall, versus they're trying to strategize, trying to play it safe. For you to ask somebody back, which would you rather see? A safe submission or somebody that's constantly trying to advance?
We want excitement. A prime example of that is going to be Micah Brakefield as an example, win or lose, and he's definitely lost to some great names, and he's won against some great names. But he goes out there and he's engaging entirely. Um, Vinny Magalesh, I'm probably not saying that name right, but you know what I mean. Vinny,
Oh, I
the
butchered
Vinny,
it.
the Vinny. Vinny, he talks, he talks crap, and he also goes out there, and of course, most recently, him with Craig Jones, but we want people that are exciting. Chris Lencioni, he's a mouthy Bellator fighter, I'm sorry, brown belt rather, and he goes out there and he has his own quirky style, and people love him for that. Just like Jeff Glover was one of my favorite competitors that we ever had, just because he is go 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 fun fun fun.
For
Him and
sure.
Chad Mendez's match was the best thing ever. So, and that was Submission Underground 3, I think it was. So, I mean, that was a while ago, but it was one of my favorites. I mean, we want to. So the problem that I don't even know if it's the problem, but the thing that Submission Underground does is it encompasses both MMA versus jiu-jitsu. That was Chael's mindset on the whole thing, was who's the better grappler. And so we have the MMA fans that they want to see, they're used to seeing punching, blood, et cetera.
Yep.
And so they're wanting that instant gratification of just action, action, action. Whereas the jiu-jitsu crowd, especially initially with our show, was very much sitting in the crowd, that respectful silence and learning and strategizing and everything. And so we are looking for that balanced competitor that can keep the fans engaged, where people are like, oh, he's on the card, we want to see it, whether he's winning or not, just because he's so much fun to watch. So if that makes sense.
No, it does 100%. Um, let's say you have a new black belt or somebody's simply trying to make their come up. If they want to make their debut on Submission Underground, do you look at their past amateur fights to take that into consideration?
Yes and no. Obviously, if they've gone against some big names, that's a huge plus for us, just because they probably already have a recognizable audience, that knows them besides their hometown, per se. There's black belts everywhere. All black belts are not created equal. I've definitely discovered that. Um,
100%.
and something that I've noticed recently is and it's partially our fault. It's because I just was talking about the popularity contest of it all, right? But something I've noticed recently is people are having all their friends, everyone go on to this post and say my name, say my name, say my name. Well, admittedly, it does get my attention. I go and I look at their profile, and then I'm either excited or I'm bummed out, one of the two. But right now we're running this after this show this Sunday. We're running a 8-man tournament for Craig Jones, and the winner gets $10K. And then the next show they face Craig Jones, and they do get paid for that. That's been a misconception. They also get paid for that. But it's amazing how many black belts and a couple of blue belts, which is weird, have contacted me wanting to be in that tournament, and they've been spamming, the social media posts, etc., with their friends and whatnot. Honestly, and I probably shouldn't even say this publicly, but messaging me personally and kind of keep it on me is probably the best way to get in the show. We get a ton of applications, which is awesome, through our website. And Shayla and I see those applications. Definitely, we both see every application that comes in, so that is good. But yeah, having a name, with more or less, being the competitor that's going to the IBJJF, going to Worlds, going to Pan Am's, being an active competitor to where people not just in your backyard know who you are. It's important. So that's where the social media presence thing comes in on Instagram too. So
For sure. And I feel like as a matchmaker, you probably run into the problem where you have, but I'm not trying to stir the pot or nothing, but you probably have the problem of you got black belts who don't want to compete unless they get paid. And like you said, they might not have competed in years and they feel entitled to that match. And it's like, that's not how it works, guys.
well, and you're right. At least for our promotion, I don't want to speak for others, but that is correct. In our promotion, the main card is paid, and it's typically invite only. That usually comes down from me and or Chael. Chael obviously has the connections for the higher ups, but the undercard is not paid. However, the nice thing about our show is the entire show is aired on UFC Fight Pass. So even if you're the first match of the night, you're getting that airtime. Plus you're getting the other advertisement. And you are correct. A lot of there's definitely an attitude, an entitlement. And I understand. I have full respect for the fact that these guys and girls have put in the work over the years. I mean, to be a black belt, it's not a 2-year process. I get it. But unless unless you've made a name for yourself, we're not going to, we're not likely going to put you on the main card, and pay you. Right now, I'm going to be a contradiction for a second, because right now we have on our undercard, he's the last match of the undercard, but on our undercard for Sunday, we have Roberto Jimenez. And Chael had put out a video about black belts, calling all black belts, if you're this, if you're that. The guy
I've seen that.
Yeah. The guy is like 20 years old, I think. He might be 19. Phenomenal. He's just beating people left and right. He's actively competing. To be a black belt at that age anyway is impressive. That's the next generation that we've all been worried about. Sorry, my cat is underneath my table. But that's the next generation that we've all been worried about, is, that generation of black belts that are going to come in and just be these killers at that age. And people are just, I can't believe this guy's on the undercard. Is that the Roberto Jimenez? And I'm like, oh yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised, depending obviously on how he does on Sunday. If he does win against Don Stoner on Sunday, I wouldn't be shocked to see him in a future event on the main card. He deserves that respect, obviously, but we also do like to have our guys start out on the undercard unless they really have built that name, because we want to build them up in our promotion. Craig Jones can't be the only face of the organization. Austin Vanderford's making a name for himself in our promotion as well as others. So it's cool.
So we brought up next Submission Underground, or not this coming one, but the one after. You got the tournament for Craig Jones to get a shot at him. Is that designed specifically to see if you can find somebody to hang with him?
When Chael first came out with this, time was not on our side. I mean, our next event, Submission Underground 15, is literally 3 weeks after the one this Sunday. It's June 21st. And so we don't have time to wait and see what happens Sunday night, before we recruit 8 people and advertise,
Right.
So at first it felt like it was a slight to Wagner. And it wasn't ever intended to be in it, and it wasn't. I mean, Wagner's beat him before; he can certainly beat him again. But regardless, the fact of the matter is that we do want Craig back, and we've been wanting to do a tournament for a while. So it kind of worked out that that's what we're gonna do. But I actually just finalized with like one wild card, or as Chael called it, a golden ticket. Um, we just kind of finalized the list last night of those 8 people, and I'm pretty excited about it. There's a lot of jiu-jitsu purists on there, I think, people that the jiu-jitsu community will recognize. I mean, Chael has talked about throwing in some random MMA people that I've just kind of like been like, that doesn't even make sense, Chael. But to him, it always makes sense.
Sure.
So I had mentioned Austin Vanderford. His coach has kind of made it clear that he wants to wait on probably another, couple of years, maybe even. I don't know if I agree with that, but I'm not the coach for a reason. I'm the matchmaker. So I just want to see it. But we'll see how Vanderford does this weekend with Checo. That's a tough sell too. So
100%. So let's see if I can pry a little bit here. When are those names for that tournament going to be published?
Well, so I haven't even told anyone that they're in it yet. We have the list, and I did invite one person last night. I messaged them and said, your name has been up here. The majority of them messaged me or Submission Underground and wanted in on the tournament, the ones that we chose. This one was tagged, and that's the other thing is some people will message me and other people are waiting for that invite, and it's kind of, here we are. But I messaged him. I haven't gotten a firm, concrete yes yet. And if he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I will tell you that he has beaten Craig before. That's one of his things. I haven't even messaged him yet, but I'll say it on air because I don't care. But he was actually a guest of yours recently.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, he was. Yeah. So and I think it's only fair after the tag team mishap that happened at our event not too long ago. So Mr. Kyle Bame will be in that tournament, and we'll see how he does on June 4th against Gordon Ryan. Of course, as we know, that's happening.
Sure.
So, but yeah, him and Craig are going to get in the cage. Maybe. I mean, assuming that Kyle wins the tournament. That's an assumption, obviously, but yeah, so Kyle will be one of those 8. I need to let him know since I just let you know. So
I love this. 2 things I've gotten on here first. Kyle actually told me.
Breaking news. Yeah.
Love it.
No, we are hoping to put the poster out almost immediately after this event. So assuming that everybody is in and ready to go. So, and we also will have a female match that I'm super excited about on that card as well. So Craig Jones, for the first time in 4 shows, I guess, or something like that, he will not be headlining that show because the main event of the tournament will be. So it's exciting.
Awesome. And I'm glad you just brought that up. I was going to ask, for the future Submission Underground, do you feel that there's going to be more girls matches in the future, or do you feel like it's just more exciting to primarily have the men going at it?
I would love to have women in every show, and multiple belts. That would be great. The hard part that we've had is we did switch over, like I said, to trying to do mostly black belt or better. And specifically on the local scene, we don't have a ton of black belt women. In Oregon, we have I think a few, and one of them being Amanda Lowen, Hillary Van Ornum, and then we have some in Washington as well. And the hard part is finding females of the same caliber to go against each other. And then of course you have to deal with the weight class as well. With our main card, it's open weight. It's open weight. So we don't even, especially right now with the quarantine and the COVID thing going on, we are not even doing weigh-ins. So I'm not even going to be able to tell you. People keep asking me, what's Wagner going to weigh in at? What's Craig going to weigh in? We don't know. They don't know. They don't care. It's happening. But women do tend to care more, and they tend to want to have that very 5 pound range narrowed down, and I understand that. So it is my hope to have more female bouts, but it is easier to match the guys because there's just so many of them. So
Oh, Heather, I'll shoot my shot here if you ever need anyone. I'm a lower belt, but I'll go against any level, any weight. So I'm your Huckleberry.
you're welcome to be my Huckleberry. You can shoot your shot all day long. As Chael respects that. We've had more than one guy walk into that cage and walk right to Chael and say, "I went in on your show," and then I get a message, and here we are. So yep, he appreciates it. So he likes being harassed.
I've wanted to do the harassing, I promise you. I've actually harassed a bunch of your competitors about getting on here, so let's see if I can be annoying enough.
Okay, and it matters, yeah.
Okay, Heather, we had talked about a game. You want to do that now?
We'll do it now. I'm nervous. Don't make me look bad on TV podcast.
Some of these are call-outs, but you know what? I feel like it makes it fun.
All right.
Okay, so for anyone watching, this is actually most likely to. We're doing it a little bit different. It's exactly what it sounds like. So we'll get started. Heather, who is most likely to get offended over an online post?
AJ Agazarm.
I 100% agree with that. I could see that. Okay, who is most likely to be a no-show to a competition?
Oh, man. An MMA celebrity.
Sure. There you go.
I'm going to leave it at that.
That works. Way to say. Okay, who is most likely to put on a charity event?
Gordon Ryan. He's got the money to.
For sure.
Yeah.
I loved it because when he did that Substars event, he actually donated a bunch of his winnings. I thought that was super cool, super respectful of him.
He's always talking about donating DVDs and money, and he's also calling people out donating his own money for the match.
For sure.
So we'll go with Gordon Ryan.
Okay. Who is most likely to smoke before comp or training?
Mike Perry. Platinum Mike Perry lit up at weigh-ins.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he lit up at weigh-ins against Al Iaquinta and just smoked right in his face. Yep. First time I've seen that, but we'll give him that. We'll give him that reward.
Okay. Who is most likely to own an illegal business?
Chael Sonnen.
I love that you said that because the last Submission Underground Joe was on. He come home and told me, he's like, I had no clue where I was going. He was like, that was nuts. And watching the event, Shell was like, we're in a location called None of Your Goddamn Business. So I was like, this is awesome. This is,
and we
100%.
still are. And we still are, yes. And competitors do not know where that place is until the day of the show. That is a fact. And they usually don't know until they're on the way to that place. So
that's hilarious. I asked Joe, I was like, did it feel like they should have just masked you and all? Like that made my day when he told me that.
We had joked about putting everyone on a bus and just putting blindfolds on them. Sug Island is it's a place right now. So
100%.
Yeah, Chael Sonnen.
Definitely the talk of the town.
Yeah.
Okay, Heather, who is most likely to compete on a short notice?
Micah Brakefield. And he's locked down in Canada right now, and he messaged me all the time and says, this is the longest I've gone without being in a Submission Underground, and it's almost comical because he feels somewhat entitled, like he's just like he's Craig Jones, and I understand because we kind of treat him that way. So, but yeah, I can't wait till he can come back. He's fun.
Well, there you go. Now I need to make it Shell's mission to break him out of lockdown.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We're giving the fans a break. COVID gave the fans a break of Micah Brakefield.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, who's most likely to donate their winnings?
Craig Jones. He tried to pay back Chael after the tag team match. He
Really?
literally tried to hand Chael back his check and said, "I don't deserve it." Blah blah blah. And, he didn't even compete that night. And yeah, I would say Craig.
That's what I love about Craig. Anyone you talk to, he's super respectful and just
Super
the
awesome
way he
guy.
is.
Yeah, and the leopard print. There's that.
For
So
sure. The fuck Craig Jones thing going on. He's
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
Okay, who's most likely to drink with their opponent after a match?
Austin Vanderford. I think that, yeah, I mean that Alaskan boy would crack open a cold one, and I've seen pictures of him and Paige out after the show, with people and doing it. So I'll say Austin. Yeah, yeah,
Those are good answers. I love it.
yeah.
That's our game, Heather. That's our
Yay,
interview.
fast.
Um, before we sign off here, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Stretch Nine, Sweeps Apparel, B2G Coffee Co. Super appreciative of them. Heather, if you have anyone you want to give shout outs to, you can do that now.
I mean, shout outs go to Chael. They go to the competitors that are competing this Sunday. They go to UFC Fight Pass for putting us on air during all this stuff going on. And yeah, so we have Submission Underground 14 this Sunday, May 31st, the UFC Fight Pass, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. 10 matches, Craig Jones versus Wagner Rocha in the main event. Don't miss it.
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Well, Heather, thanks for joining us. You have a lovely rest of the day.
Thanks for having me. You too. All right.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.